Ladies and gentlemen, let me break this down for you, because a lot of times we miss the signals that are right in front of us. You see, when a man is really thinking of you, it shows up in ways you might not even realize. One of the clearest signs is in those quiet moments at night when the world is dark, the house is silent, and he can't seem to rest. That tossing and turning, staring at the ceiling, rolling over, and staring at his phone, it's all happening because his mind is full of you. And I'm not just talking about the surface kind of thinking. I'm talking about the kind of thinking that occupies his heart, his imagination, his soul. He's replaying the conversations you've had, the laughs, the arguments, the sweet moments, the little touches that only you two share. He's remembering the way you looked when you smiled at him last, the way your eyes lit up when something funny happened, the way your hand fit perfectly in his. Now, ladies, let me tell you something. This is important because a lot of times women look for signs in the daytime. They look for the flowers, the texts, the calls, the big gestures. But sometimes the real proof isn't in the spotlight, it's in the shadows. It's in those late night hours when he's alone with his thoughts and the world is asleep. That's when his mind wanders to you. And here's the thing, when a man's thinking of you at night, it's not a casual thought. It's not, oh, I wonder what she's doing? No, it's deeper than that. It's imagining what it would be like to hold you, to make you laugh, to keep you safe, to make you happy. It's thinking about the way he can improve, the way he can be better for you, the way he can make sure he never loses someone like you. And I know some of y'all might be saying, Steve, how do I really know? Well, here's how. You ever notice that a man who can't stop thinking about you at night will find a way to check on you? Maybe he's sending a text. Maybe he's calling just to hear your voice. Maybe he's scrolling through memories of you too. And if you pay attention, you'll see that even in his silence, he's talking to you in his mind. He's running scenarios, thinking through conversations, imagining your reactions. He's mentally replaying moments with you and even planning the next time he'll see you. This is the kind of thought that keeps a man awake. That makes him turn over 1,000 times in bed because he doesn't want to forget a single detail about you. And let me tell you, ladies, this kind of thinking isn't just about attraction. Anybody can be attracted. Anybody can like a pretty face or a good laugh. But when a man thinks of you at night, it's emotional, it's spiritual. He's carrying you in his mind when no one else is around. He's remembering you when he's quiet. He's imagining a future with you in ways he can't even put into words yet. That's real. That's not just passing interest. That's connection. That's a heart fully involved, a heart that can't turn off when it comes to you. Now, here's the kicker. When a man is doing this, it often affects his sleep because his mind is busy with you, his heart is busy with you, and even his soul is busy with you. He may try to rest, but he can't fully relax because he's thinking, how can I make this woman feel safe? How can I show her that I care? How can I make her smile tomorrow like she made me smile today? And all of this is happening in those quiet, private hours when no one is watching, when no one is noticing. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know he's invested. That's how you know he's not just playing games. Because thinking about someone at night when there's nothing to distract you, when it's just you and your own mind, that's honest. That's truth. That's the kind of thought that tells you he's serious, that he values you, and that you're on his heart even when he's alone. So ladies, pay attention to the signs that happen in the dark, because that's where the truth often lies. Notice the restlessness, the late night messages, the way he remembers the small things about you. That's not coincidence. That's not random. That's a man's heart speaking in the silence. And if you're listening carefully, you can hear exactly what it's saying. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about love and attention, because a lot of folks miss this part completely. You see, when a man is truly thinking about you, it shows up in ways that aren't always obvious, ways that might make you scratch your head and say, why now? I'm talking about those messages, those calls, those little check-ins that happen at the most unexpected times. Maybe it's 11 o'clock at night, maybe it's after midnight, maybe it's 2 in the morning, and suddenly your phone lights up. And you think, well, why now? Let me explain. That right there, that little ping, that notification, It's not just random. That's a man's heart finding its way to you when the rest of the world is asleep. That's affection sneaking in while the night is quiet. That's him saying, without saying it, I'm thinking of you. I want to connect with you. You're on my mind and I can't help it. Ladies, I want you to really hear me on this. This is where a lot of women get confused. They see a late night text, they see a random phone call, and they think, oh, he's just bored. He's just lonely. But I'm here to tell you, if a man is doing this consistently, it's much deeper than boredom. It's intentional. He's reaching out because your presence lingers in his thoughts, even when the world is quiet. It's like he can't help himself. His mind is running in circles with memories of your laughter, the way you make him feel, the way you look when you smile at him. He wants to hear your voice, even for a few seconds, just to remind himself that you're real, that you're there, that you exist in his life. And here's something else. The time doesn't matter. It's not about the convenience. It's about the connection. He could send a text in the middle of the afternoon like anybody else, but he chooses the night because at night, when distractions are gone, his thoughts are purely about you. He's not thinking about work. He's not thinking about obligations. He's thinking about you. And the content of those messages matters too. Sometimes it's something small. Hey, I was just thinking about you. Or, did you get home safe? But even those small words carry weight. They carry emotion. They carry a message that goes beyond just letters on a screen. They carry his attention, his care, and yes, his affection. Now, some of y'all are going to say, Steve, maybe he just likes talking at night. And sure, maybe. But let me tell you, there's a difference between casual conversation and a man who's intentionally reaching out because he's thinking of you. You can feel it. You can sense it. There's a subtle energy in those messages, a warmth, a connection, a pull that tells you he's here, he's present, he's thinking of me. And if you notice patterns, if it happens over and over again, that's not coincidence. That's not randomness. That's attention. That's interest that's deep enough to push him to act, even when it's inconvenient, even when he's tired, even when it would be easier to just let the night go by. And here's the real kicker, ladies. Those messages, those calls, they're not just about now. They're about the future. They're about building a bridge between the two of you, keeping the connection alive, making sure you know you're on his mind. A man who cares enough to reach out at odd hours is a man who's investing in the relationship, investing in your connection, and showing you through action what words alone can't always express. He's proving that you matter, that you're important, that he values the bond you share. So pay attention to those moments because they're louder than you think. That little ding on your phone, that ring in the middle of the night, that's not just a distraction. That's a love note in action. That's a man letting you know he's present in your life, even when the world isn't watching, even when no one else notices, even when it would be easy to be quiet. That's the truth. That's affection. That's a man showing you in subtle, sometimes invisible ways that you're on his heart, even in the quietest hours. And if you're listening carefully, ladies, you can hear the message loud and clear in a man who reaches out when he doesn't have to, when it would be easier to stay silent, when the night is dark and empty, is a man whose heart is full of you. That's not coincidence. That's love in action. That's attention in its purest form. That's a man saying, without even saying it, I'm thinking of you, I care about you, and you matter to me. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about dreams, because this is one of those things that a lot of people overlook when they're trying to figure out what's going on in a man's heart. Dreams are powerful, and when a man dreams about you, it's not just coincidence. It's not just some random thought floating through his brain while he's asleep. No. Dreams are the subconscious, the part of the mind that hides the deepest feelings, the part of the mind that can't lie. And when he dreams about you, it's a signal, a loud one, even if he doesn't say a word about it during the day, that you are on a level in his heart that goes beyond surface attraction. Now, let me be clear, ladies. I'm not talking about every little dream, every fleeting thought that disappears when he wakes up. I'm talking about the ones that stick, the ones that leave him thinking, wow, that felt real. The ones where he wakes up and he can still feel you there, even though he's alone in his room. Those dreams are the ones that tell you there's an emotional connection happening deep down where he doesn't even have to consciously think about it. You see, dreams don't lie. You can't fake them. You can't control them. And when you show up in his dreams, it means you've made a permanent mark in his mind, in his heart, and in his soul. And this connection, ladies, it's not just about him thinking of you when he's awake. That's easy. That's something anybody can do. But dreaming about someone, that's a whole other level. That's the part of him that he doesn't even tell the world about, the part that is raw, emotional, and honest. When a man dreams about you, it means he's processing his feelings. He's thinking about your interactions. He's imagining scenarios with you that he may never say out loud, but he wants to explore in his subconscious. And the fact that you appear there, even when you're not physically present, is proof that you're important to him in ways that go beyond surface attraction or casual affection. Let me give it to you like this, ladies. Have you ever had a dream that felt so real, so vivid, that when you woke up, you could still feel it in your chest? That's what I'm talking about. When a man dreams about you in that way, he's emotionally invested. His subconscious is rehearsing moments with you, revisiting feelings, and replaying memories. He's thinking about the way you make him feel, the way your presence affects him, and the way his life feels different with you in it. That's not shallow. That's not random. That's a deep emotional connection. That's a man acknowledging, without even knowing it, that you matter, that you're important, that he cares about you more than he might even admit during the day. And here's something else that's important. These dreams often influence the way he acts when he's awake. You ever notice that a man who dreams about a woman tends to behave differently the next day? Maybe he's more attentive. Maybe he's more thoughtful. Maybe he reaches out in ways that seem subtle but are meaningful. That's because dreams are processing stations. They allow him to figure out what he wants, what he values, and how he feels about you. When a man dreams about you, he's creating mental and emotional space for you in his life, whether he even realizes it consciously or not. And that, ladies, is powerful. That's influence. That's connection. That's a man allowing you to occupy the most private part of his mind. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking, Steve, how can I be sure? Well, let me tell you, you can't always be 100% sure about dreams, but you can notice patterns. You can notice the way he talks about moments that feel like they came from a dream. You can notice the way he brings up memories or ideas that seem too vivid to be random. You can notice the way his feelings and actions shift after moments of reflection, after moments where he's been quiet or introspective. Dreams are like a window into his emotions, and if you pay attention carefully, you can see that connection. You can feel it. You can sense it. You can know that he's thinking about you, not just in the daylight hours, not just when it's convenient, but even when he's asleep in the most vulnerable and honest part of his life. So, ladies, remember this. Dreams are not just fantasies. They're messages. They're signals. They're a man's heart speaking to him. And if you're on the receiving end of those signals, it means you're significant. It means you've made a mark that goes beyond surface level attraction. It means you've touched his emotions, his mind, and yes, his soul. And that kind of connection doesn't come along every day. That kind of connection is rare, and it's worth noticing, cherishing, and valuing. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that a lot of people completely overlook when it comes to love and relationships. When a man is truly interested in you, when he really cares about you, he doesn't just notice the big things, he notices the small things. The little details that most people would overlook, the things that seem so tiny that you might think nobody is paying attention, those are the things that reveal the depth of his heart. See, attraction is easy. Anybody can be attracted to a smile, a pretty face, a good laugh. But genuine care is in the details, the subtle things, the things he remembers without even trying, the things he notices because he's actually paying attention. And ladies, if a man remembers those things, that's your proof. That's your signal. That's a man telling you, you matter to me, even without saying it out loud. Now let me explain what I mean. You ever notice the way a man remembers the little things you mentioned weeks ago? Maybe you told him your favorite song and suddenly, out of nowhere, he plays it for you just because. Or maybe you casually mentioned that you love a certain kind of coffee and next time he sees it, he gets it for you. These aren't big, dramatic gestures. These aren't the things you see in the movies with fireworks and orchestras. No, these are small, everyday actions that carry weight because they show he's listening. They show he's remembering. They show he's invested in knowing you, not just superficially, but really deeply. And that, ladies, is rare. That's not something everyone can do. That's a gift. And let me tell you something else. The way he notices details isn't always about gifts or words. It's in the way he observes you in conversation, the way he recalls things you've said before, the way he reacts when something affects you emotionally. A man who cares will pick up on the tone of your voice, the little expressions on your face, the way your eyes light up when you're excited, or the way they drop when something bothers you. He doesn't just see these things, he remembers them. He files them away in his mind and heart so he can understand you better. That's not random. That's not accidental. That's deliberate. That's love in its quiet, powerful form. And here's the thing, these details aren't just nice to have, they matter. They show that he's paying attention to you, not just to the idea of being in a relationship, not just to the surface level charm of dating. He's noticing who you are as a person, the quirks that make you unique, the habits that make you laugh, the fears that make you vulnerable, the dreams that make you tick. When a man remembers these things, he's showing that he values you. He's showing that you're significant to him. He's showing that he wants to understand you completely, not just the version of you you show to the world. And ladies, let's be honest, this is one of those things that separates a man who's serious from a man who's just playing games. A man who forgets the little things, a man who doesn't pay attention to what makes you you, is a man who's not invested in knowing you. But a man who remembers, a man who notices, a man who brings up those small details in conversation or action is a man whose heart is involved. That's proof. That's evidence. That's a sign you can count on. Let me give you a real life example because I like to make this practical. You ever notice that a man might casually mention something you said weeks ago, something you didn't even think he remembered? Maybe you mentioned that you love the smell of rain, or that you always order the same thing at a restaurant. And suddenly, there he is, bringing up that exact thing in a conversation or recreating that moment for you. That's not coincidence. That's him showing that he's been listening. That's him showing that your words, your preferences, your uniqueness matter to him. That's attention in action. That's love in its quietest, most powerful form. And ladies, don't underestimate this. The details, the memory, the observation, they're the heart of emotional intimacy. They build trust. They build connection. They build a sense of security in knowing that he's paying attention to the person you are, not just the person he wants you to be. That's why a man who notices details is worth holding on to. That's why you pay attention when he remembers things, even the smallest things, because those little things tell you volumes about the way he feels about you. So pay attention to these moments. Pay attention to the way he listens, the way he notices, the way he remembers. That's not something every man can do. That's not something every man even thinks to do. But when a man does it, ladies, it's proof. Proof that you are on his mind, proof that you are in his heart, proof that he values you in ways that words alone cannot express. And if you notice this about him, cherish it, because this is the kind of man whose love is real, whose attention is genuine, and whose heart is fully invested in you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you for a moment about gestures, because in the world of relationships, gestures are the language of the heart. I'm not talking about the big, flashy, dramatic gestures you see on TV or in movies. I'm talking about the quiet, subtle actions that reveal the truth of a man's heart. Those little things that tell you he cares, that he notices, that he values you, even when no one else is looking. See, a man can say all the words in the world. He can tell you he loves you. He can promise the moon and the stars, but it's his actions that speak the loudest. And when those actions are emotional, intentional, and considerate, even in small ways, that's when you know he truly cherishes you. Now, ladies, let me give it to you straight. Emotional gestures don't have to be grandiose to matter. Sometimes it's the little things that carry the most weight. Maybe it's the way he holds your hand a little longer than usual, not because anyone is watching, but because he wants you to feel his support, his presence, his care. Maybe it's the way he listens when you talk, really listens, giving you his full attention, even when he's tired or distracted. Maybe it's the way he notices when you're upset and tries to cheer you up with something small, a joke, a kind word, a thoughtful note, a favorite snack he knows you love. Those subtle actions, ladies, they're not random. They're proof that he's thinking about you, that he's invested in your happiness, that he values the relationship enough to put in the effort, even in ways that don't require applause or recognition. And here's something else I want you to understand. Emotional gestures are about more than just making you feel good in the moment. They're about creating a connection, a sense of safety, a bond that goes beyond words. When a man gestures emotionally, even subtly, it's like he's sending a message straight to your heart. I see you. I care about you. You matter to me. And ladies, let me tell you, there's power in that. There's strength in that. Because words can be empty, promises can be broken, but consistent emotional gestures, even small ones, reveal the true weight of a man's feelings. They tell you who he is when no one else is looking, when there's no one around to validate him, when it's just him, and you and the world outside fades away. Now, some of you might be thinking, Steve, what do you mean by subtle emotional gestures? Well, let me break it down. It could be the little things he does that show he's paying attention to your needs. Maybe he remembers something you mentioned in passing weeks ago, and he acts on it without making a big deal about it. Maybe he offers comfort when you're down without you even asking. Maybe he celebrates your successes, your milestones, your victories, even the small ones, just because he knows they matter to you. Those are gestures that carry emotion because they come from a place of genuine care, not obligation. They come from a place where he's thinking about you, not himself, and that's the kind of behavior that signals a man truly cherishes you. And ladies, let's talk about timing. Timing matters. Emotional gestures aren't always convenient. Sometimes a man has to put aside his own comfort, his own schedule, his own energy to make sure you feel valued. Maybe it's staying up late to talk to you when you're struggling, even though he's exhausted. Maybe it's driving across town to support you at something that matters to you, even when he'd rather stay home. Maybe it's simply sending a message at a random moment to let you know he's thinking about you. These gestures, subtle or otherwise, show intention. They show investment. They show that he's willing to act in ways that reinforce your importance in his life. And that, ladies, is a rare quality. That's the kind of man who doesn't just love you when it's easy, who doesn't just cherish you when it's convenient, who doesn't just notice you when everyone else is watching. That's the kind of man who values and cherishes you consistently, deeply, and genuinely. And here's the thing about gestures, they have staying power. A kind word, a thoughtful action, a moment of genuine attention, they linger. You remember them, you feel them. They build trust, they build intimacy, and they build a connection that words alone cannot create. When a man consistently shows you emotional gestures, even subtle ones, he's telling you without speaking that he respects you, that he values you, and that he's committed to nurturing the bond you share. That's not something that should be overlooked. That's not something that should be taken for granted. That's proof of a man's heart, ladies, and it's worth paying attention to. So when you notice these small gestures, him remembering your favorite things, his thoughtfulness in little moments, his consistent effort to make you feel valued, don't dismiss them. Don't brush them off as coincidence or luck. Recognize them for what they are, signs of genuine affection, signs of emotional investment, signs that he truly cherishes you. And let me tell you, ladies, men like this are rare. Men who put their heart into actions, who make you feel seen and valued without fanfare, who consistently show care through emotional gestures, those are the men who are worth holding on to. Those are the men whose love is authentic, whose care is intentional, and whose presence in your life is a gift that goes beyond words. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take a moment to talk about something a lot of people don't fully understand when it comes to love and relationships. You see, It's easy to notice someone when the world is watching. Anybody can show up. Anybody can smile when there's an audience. Anybody can act charming when everyone else is around. But that's not where the truth lies. The truth about a man's feelings, the proof of a genuine connection, doesn't happen in broad daylight with cameras rolling or people watching. No, no, no. The real connection is revealed in the quiet, private moments, the moments that only exist between the two of you when the outside world is silent and it's just him and you and whatever is happening in your hearts. Now, ladies, let me tell you something. These quiet moments are the ones that show who he really is. Because here's the thing, anyone can put on a show. Anyone can be polite, charismatic, and attentive when there's a crowd. But it's in those private moments, the late night conversations, the whispered thoughts, the shared laughter when no one else is around, the small touches that go unnoticed by anyone else, where his true feelings come alive. That's where you see how much he values you, how much he respects you, and how much he actually cares about building a genuine connection with you. That's where the facade drops and the real man comes forward. And here's the part a lot of people miss. The quiet moments reveal consistency. They show whether a man is truly invested in you or if he's just performing when it's convenient. Does he reach out when no one else is watching? Does he take the time to connect with you even when it's late, even when it's inconvenient, even when there's nothing spectacular about the moment? If he does, that's a man whose heart is genuinely engaged, a man who is invested in the relationship because he values you, not because of the approval or attention of others. Those moments don't require applause. They don't need recognition. They happen because the connection is real, and real connection doesn't need an audience to validate it. Let me break it down for you further. Think about those times when it's just the two of you, maybe sitting together in silence, maybe talking about the random thoughts that cross your mind, maybe laughing at something so small that no one else would get it. Those are the moments that matter. That's where his patience shows. That's where his respect shows. That's where his love shows. When he's attentive to you in these quiet times, when he's present, when he listens, when he notices the things that nobody else does, that's proof that his connection with you goes beyond surface level attraction. That's proof that he's invested emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And let's be real, ladies, there's a level of vulnerability in these moments. You see it when a man opens up to you, when he shares his fears, his dreams, his thoughts, the things he doesn't talk about with anyone else. That's emotional intimacy in its purest form. That's trust being built brick by brick. Because it takes courage to show someone your heart when there's no audience, when there's no one to impress, when it's just the raw, real, unfiltered truth. And if he's willing to do that with you, it's one of the clearest signs that he values you, that he cherishes you, and that he feels a real connection with you. Those moments are sacred, ladies, and they're not easy to come by. Here's another thing to pay attention to. The way he reacts when things are mundane, the boring, ordinary moments that seem insignificant to anyone else. Does he make you feel special even when there's nothing remarkable happening? Does he engage with you, care for you, laugh with you, or simply hold space for you in these ordinary times? That's the stuff that counts. That's where real connection lies. Because love isn't just about the highlights reel. Love isn't just about the big gestures, the fancy dates, the public displays. Love is built in the everyday, quiet, private moments, the things that most people wouldn't even notice, but that mean the world to the two of you. And ladies, if you're paying attention, you'll notice patterns. A man who is connected to you in these quiet moments will show it repeatedly. He'll check on you when no one is watching. He'll send a message just to say he's thinking about you, not because he wants to impress anyone, but because he genuinely wants to reach out to you. He'll remember the little details about your day, about your moods, about your preferences, even when no one else would. He'll act in ways that show you matter to him, consistently and intentionally, in ways that go beyond words. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know it's genuine. Let me give you a real life example, because I like to keep it practical. Maybe you're sitting together at home, doing something as ordinary as watching TV or cooking dinner. Maybe there's no special occasion, No fancy setting, no one to impress. And yet he notices something about you. He compliments you in a way that feels personal. He listens to what you have to say. He shares a story or memory that only the two of you would get. That, ladies, is a quiet, private moment where connection is being demonstrated. It's subtle, but it's powerful. It shows that he's fully present, fully engaged, and fully invested in the relationship. That's where love grows strongest, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, in the intimacy of everyday life, in the moments that no one else sees. And here's the final truth about these quiet moments: they last. They leave an imprint on your heart. They build trust, intimacy, and a sense of security that can't be faked. A man who connects with you in these ways isn't just flirting, he's investing. He's showing you that his feelings are consistent, genuine, and deep. He's showing you that you matter to him in ways that go far beyond surface level attraction or fleeting attention. And if you're paying attention to these private, quiet moments, you'll know exactly where his heart is, and you'll know the strength of your connection too.